Welcome back, everyone, for the second session of the webinar. We're discussing 108 reasons why Gurukulam education is not for my child. So, in the first half today, we were discussing about a few very strong topics. We had a good arguments, debates, points, counterpoints going on. We had a fun scoring going on as well. So, we were 3-2. What are the things that we covered? Just a quick recap. Gurukulam education is structured learning of self and life. We started off with that, established why it is required, why it is essential, who should take it up, who should not, what is the significance of these things. We touched upon character growth, and then we also spoke about respect for self and the people around. And we also spoke about the connections with nature and the cosmos. And then the last part where we left off was around discipline, humility, and self control. So we have a lot of interesting points that are there. Let's go have a look at the next one. In the argument from activists supporting Gurukulam education, Nutanma, this is the next point that you have on the board.
Yes, Bharatji, I am totally in sync with this. Yes, this system cultivates a strong sense of community and service. It instills this thing that children basically learn that growth is meaningful only when it uplifts others, when you create something of value to society at large. And our ancients knew this. It has been established in all of our indigenous writings. And if you look at science, also social sciences, psychology also has established this. If you look at Maslow's hierarchical needs, if you see, the basics are covered from the bottom. There are these food, water, sleep is the basic kind of need. Once that is met, then you move to the higher things. Security is the next, like a house, and safety is priority. Once that is met, then there is a longing for connection, for a community, for a family and stuff. So once that is met, you want to go out and create a sense of like esteem. And so once that is met, then the natural progression of things is this, that that is true growth. Then it comes to the point of self-actualization or self-realization. Once that's achieved, there is a tendency to create something for the others, and this is the natural progression of things. This is how human beings work. So even science has established this, and our ancients have said this a long time ago. And but in saying that, you don't have to go through these steps, and when you look at people in general, some of the most humble people have done such iconic things, like and they have come to this point where for them growth is this. Like there is this old lady in India itself, I think she's at an age of 80 plus years, and then she goes around collecting seeds. Of what utility is that? Basically she's collecting all these native seeds, which are going extinct, and but she's sort of like having this storehouse or seed bank. So where is the utility in that? But there is a sense of accomplishment and growth in that. There is immense satisfaction in doing something like that. So if you see the hierarchical needs, she just lives, in a very humble uh, accommodation in some rural area and stuff like that. But there is growth in that. There is a sincere sense of satisfaction that comes along with it. And if you see People Baba also, he just goes around planting trees and trees and trees. So it's really it's taking a holistic view. So one way to achieve is this, if you climb the ladder up and then it hits you like, no, I'm still not satisfied. I've made this much money and all my materialistic needs are met, and it's met for the next 9 generations of mine also, but there is still some lack. How to fill that lack is this, that strong sense of being of service to the community around you. And this is something that mm, uh, that is shown, or that is it. I don't even want to say words like shown and inculcated and everything, but the children in the Gurukulam system just come to realize that,
Mhm.
this is it. Whatever I do, I will never be satisfied unless unless I create something of value, or of some sort of use, or and it has to go out. in the general well-being of everything around me.
Okay. So I'd like to take this on with a real event incident that happened at the Gurukulam,
Mm,
and then see how it really works. I mean, is it something that the society at large is looking at, right? So there
mm,
was this one quarter, I mean, as we here in the in the Gurukulam, right? We have quarterly themes that happens, and one of the quarters we had this theme where children were learning and playing, and there was an event where we had a carom board competition, a tournament basically for
carom board.
carom board tournament.
Okay.
All the parents had carom board tournaments going on in teams, and then there was a knockout series, and then at the end we had final contenders fighting for the trophy. Same thing was happening in parallel for the children as well, right? So there are certain rules in carom. I don't know if you know about this. I discovered it while I was there playing with the children. If you play out of your turn,
Mm,
your team is disqualified. So if it's me after you and the next person picks up the striker and goes for the shot, the team is disqualified. You basically end up, conceding the game. So you lose it. So this is what happened. And the team, the children who are playing there, that was a finals match, the match for the trophy.
mm,
And then the one of the kids, he picked up the striker before his turn. And the other team, they waited for him to play the shot. Once they played the shot, they called it saying you played out of the turn.
mm.
And so you lose. And you know what happened after that?
No.
This is not the right way for us to win, but we want to have a re-tournament. They did the tournament all over again.
Wow. See?
But this, in the contrary to what happens in the mainstream, it's a competitive world out there. How much, how much of a small percentage of thing I have an edge over the others? What can put me ahead of everybody else? Just by a mile, an inch, a yard, or whatever it is, right? Always, it is. This is what is happening. I need to be one step ahead of somebody. It's a competition out there. That is what is going to win, not this collaboration, the community thing. That is what is the world looking for. That is what everybody is being, weighed against, measured against, as to how good you are compared to the other person.
Yes,
This
it's
kind of a scenario, and this is what is a demand out there, and this is what even every parent wants, because every parent, if you look at it, we all want our children to ace at something, right? So I have an extra coaching class going on, something else going on, and I'm preparing them for becoming better at their own self and being they're having an edge over the others. If that is the case, why do you think Gurukulam is required when the demand is not there for this? The demand is
true.
for creating competition, being the best at everyone. So if I am there in the job interview and I say, okay, this guy answered it better than me, give the job to him, I won't accept my child coming back home saying I gave away my job offer because somebody else was better. As a parent, I wouldn't do that. But here, the Gurukulam focuses on having a community and growing together and living together and striving together, right? So if the demand is for the other part, why should we really invest on having this sense of community and service?
Because the truth of it is, the need for or the want for, taking up a job and stuff like that,
Just
of
an
going.
example, as just an example. Yeah,
Hmm.
that was just an example. But yeah.
Okay, no, we'll take that
Mm-hmm.
example only.
Mm-hmm.
So that want that is there in, say a person like that who sees this kind of a job as his ultimate need, once he goes and gets it also,
Mm-hmm.
and the experiential truth for himself is that there is always a sense of lack. He can't wait from Monday to Friday. On a Monday he can't wait for the Friday to finish,
Mm-hmm.
because uh, somewhere there is a sense of lack, somewhere there is dissatisfaction. So in doing things for, in trying to meet the success metrics of the society, he is sacrificing himself going here. But even after doing that, there is no sense of achievement. There is, I'm sorry. Oh, there is some sense of lack that is there. So how does he overcome that? How does he overcome that, and how does he move forward?
So when you say lack of uh, the sense, are you talking about the lack of a community that they can get together with? Is it something
No,
that
a lack
I'm
of
enjoying?
satisfaction in itself.
Mm-hmm.
basic thing is you should enjoy what you're doing, right? Why is
Mm-hmm.
that not happening? The whole world has told you, no, 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 getting an IT job is the actual thing. Just go there. And, otherwise the dream of all the millennial parents was go abroad, go abroad. But
Mm-hmm.
even after going there, why is it that there's no satisfaction? There is always, there seems to be like, there is something more that I have to do. There is something more that I have to do, but they are not able to put a finger on it. If you There are so many memes and so many jokes created about this. All these stand-up comedians take up these as jokes. This is the living conditions, and that's what, like I said, the simple example is when Monday starts, they can't wait for a Friday. Thank God it's Friday is such a brand in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it is a general overwhelming feeling that is there in every person who is in the corporate world or in any job. They can't wait because they feel like Saturday, Sunday is mine. Why? I mean, every day is yours, right? Ideally you should be doing this on if you truly enjoy sitting there and working for somebody else, and basically giving away the time of you to somebody else, working for a corporation, working for a company. Why are you waiting for? You should be, if this is something that you have always wanted to
In
do.
again, another question on top of it, right? When did you feel that this is what it is? I have something more to do. I have something better to do, and this is not what it is.
Unfortunately, I have come to feel like that only in the past 6 years. So before that, I was also in a status of, it was a limbo state. Like, I was also nullified or numb to the happenings and stuff. So it is an awakening that has come within that, there is no satisfaction no matter what I do. Okay, if it is Saturday, Sunday also, everybody goes out to the malls and you go to party and everything, but still there is a feeling of lack. There is something is amiss. You feel it. Nobody can explain it. But this is the truth of everybody, if you ask it. But this, at the same time, like I said, I gave very few examples of
Mhm.
people who are actually doing something that they're so passionate about. They love doing it. So they're not going to see, okay, today's a Monday, I will work from Monday to Friday. Okay, I'll stop on a Saturday. They are doing it as part
So
of their living. So
if it was not for the corporate setup or a job that you are in, which you realize that is not giving you a sense of satisfaction or whatever, right? What would you have done? And now that you have started to get to know about yourself and what drives you and what is the thing that gives you satisfaction, what is it that you would have done?
when? Now?
Oh, yeah.
Now
Now that
I
you have
can't
got,
see anything else.
uh-huh.
That's what, it's a path of self discovery, right? And in that process, I mean, now I can't see anything else but to, it's like saying that, you know what, there is something so good. So, and I wish this for everybody else on the planet. And so my thing is like, I'm experiencing this, why are you not? So I can't see anything else. That's why in one of the previous talks that we were doing, that's why I said the day that the awareness is created, I will stop and I
Mhm.
will go on to discover something else, something else that I'm passionate about. But since I haven't ventured into that area, I can't really tell you what else I would have done. But
Okay. If a child from the beginning gets this idea, what do
yeah,
you think would change for them? They would not, I mean, by the typical terms of it, right? They would not be doing these jobs that you would say that could be,
maybe, maybe
or
not.
what if,
Only the
what if
people
they
who
discover
truly
it?
enjoy doing it
Exactly.
will be doing it.
Yes,
They
because
are
we
not
have a
forced
lot
to
of
be.
children in our own Gurukulam, right? The seniors, they have started doing their own entrepreneurial journeys. So
Yes.
even they're doing the stuff that we at a point were forcefully pushed into it, but these kids are also doing it. So it's not like they're gonna change and not do this and they'll start to becoming something else.
That's what I'm saying. Only the people truly invested in it and passionate about it will
Hmm.
continue to do these. I'm not saying to do away with the corporate jobs or to do
Hmm.
away with the IT sector. That is the next game that is, developing. Actually, AI is going to be everything. So there will be people who are truly passionate about, and it won't matter to them that, whether what day it is, how many hours of work I put in. They can't think of anything else. It becomes their so it becomes their everything, and they will not even call it work. That's what our Gurukulam is all about. It will seem like play every single moment, every single day.
So we have it.
For people who are not interested in it, you know that will seem like madness. Like, why is this person working 16 hours a day? But this person can't wait to pack up their bags in the seventh hour of the work and go home. The only difference is this person is passionate about it. This person is completely invested in it. And this other person is not. He's doing it because somebody else told him that this is the way. He's been conditioned into thinking. And it's generational trauma that he is carrying, unfortunately, within him, that, he is enslaved himself to a system that is not giving him true joy and happiness.
Okay, I have something to come back to it, but before that, Reva, do you have anything that you want to add? As an entrepreneur
Yes.
yourself and a Gurukulam educated child, do you see that there is a merit for doing this? Really?
The point is on community and service, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, one thing that I notice, which is in my own journey with my batchmates and the children whom we are nurturing now as mentors, um, especially the service part. Not all parents or the society really values people who are in for service. That's where we truly are. If somebody is, done with their life, they are in their old age, retirement age, or if somebody is really well settled financially and they do things for free or they do things for the society, they are hailed. They are, spoken about, they are promoted. And, you look at this person, itna sab kuch hai, fir bhi society ko de raha hai. That comes in at that point. But I think if a child who's just finished graduation tells his parents that, I have this sense of community and I have this sense of service and I want to just put it into channelize into doing something for people of old age or for adoption centers. The first thing I think a normal parent will tell and a sensible parent will tell is first to get a job, get your money settled, get settled, and then get into all this seva bhava. I think that's a will the parent be happy that my child has this compassion and empathy? Surely, there is no doubt about that. Does every parent want it? Yes. But would they want their child to be rooted to it? Probably not. It's again based on their convenience. Whenever they feel their child is settled, then probably you can do the seva bhava bit. But there are many, the sad part of it is, Mutanma, there are many children whom I see in the Gurukulam, whom I have been part of, that seva is them. Like the few people you took example of, right? They feel complete doing what they are doing. It could be with trees, it could be with children, it could be in any other sector. But I don't think everybody right now or parents right now have the confidence that, like in the Gurukulam, we are brought up saying, in whatever field, in whichever work, in whichever scale, you feel your completeness, you do your work, your life will happen. There is that faith-based living that we are given. But if people who are closest connected to you, your parents, your family, and the close society, if they themselves are doubtful about it and if they are putting their anxiety into it, then I don't know how a child will navigate through that if with a strong sense of community and service, how a child can navigate through that. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Would a child like it? Yes. Would a parent want the child to have a sense of service? Yes. But what if it actually manifests hard rock into the reality that the child says, I want to do only work of service? Will the parent be happy or will the parent support fully?
See, that is the unfortunate scheme of things, definitely. But I can tell you with assurance that a child who goes to the Gurukulam system will have the willpower to navigate any kind of obstruction that comes in front of him, because he is clear in himself, that he has a strong footing, that he has discovered himself and he is able to explore that as his path. So no matter if it's his own parents, friends, even if the whole world is against him, it only matters that he truly believes in himself and he will be able to navigate through such obstructions. Unfortunately, this is not the reality of children outside the schooling. I'm sorry, excuse me, outside the Gurukulam system. If so at the moment, somebody is obstructing them with an opinion or a worldview, they are forced to alter or hold back themselves or hold back their thoughts. So that is one thing that I wanted to put out there. And the second thing is, there is also the stereotypical thinking that service is only charity. It need not be. It's absolutely not. Service is, whatever you are creating, right? Is it in harmony with everything around you? Now, if I want to just take Zomato as an example. Okay, the guy who who invented this system that is there, which is so prevalent in the metro cities right now. So if he looked at it as a holistic view, and if he was able to, it is a matter of convenience. It has become convenience to everybody. But what are the repercussions of this? So many so many businesses have, gone out. See, this may be true, this may be not true. Hypothetically, I'm just talking like this. So many businesses, so many restaurants would have to close down. The business has gone. That and packaging itself, then the plastic comes in, right? So it's just kind of whatever you're creating and putting out into the world, whatever you're innovating, whatever you want to do, right, there is a sort of holistic view that you take on and say that that it is in harmony with everything around you, and you will be able to bring out a conscious product which can further all of things around you, whether it be human beings, whether it be society, whether it be nature, without causing harm to anything around you. Yeah. So I think I think we just need to zoom out and see service, of being of service to others is it has made us, it has sort of devolved us as human beings to not even wanting to step out of the house. So that connection only is gone, so yeah, it's just taking a holistic view of what is, and making a very conscious decision, whatever you're putting out in the world. So it's not just about charity or, helping old age people or orphans or anything. Only that is not considered service. Anything can be of service. Even you can create an art piece that, you can make this wonderful painting and out of your own joy, but will be appreciated. I mean, will be left to for people to admire and, use in some form or the other. It can be anything. It's really just not about only charity or helping the oppressed or underprivileged and stuff. So first we have to come out of that mindset and look at this.
I think for me, when I heard you, you almost gave the reason why it's not. It seems like a long journey for somebody to even, first of all, redefine what service means for themselves and for people around. Like how many parents can confidently say, even if it's a different form of service, that yes, my child is the seva type, or the person who's more into giving than calculated giving, or taking back. Give and take is not something my child is into. I'm sure, like you said, as a Gurukulam, as a learner of the Gurukulam myself, can we navigate parents? Yes, we can. Gurukulam is for every child, but I'm not sure whether for today's society, for the setting that we have, because you're also talking about the parents, the family, us as a whole, whether for this specific point we are prepared for it. Because there is also another thing, for something as simple as a festival celebration, or something as simple as, let's say, a party theme. Everybody wants to be better than the other. Like how Bharatji was saying, it's so competitive right now. It's this versus that. It's how we are doing it, how they are doing it. Though we want it, it might seem like a nice aspiration that yeah, we should all live like a community. It's not, on a practical basis, it's not happening.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a case of what is over what can be.
So that point comes to us then.
No, it's only a case of that's people are asleep. That's what, in a state of limbo like that. And
Let's bring it together. Okay, there are two parts we're talking about: community and service. So I'll pick up from what everyone spoke here. Gurukulam nurtures transactions of give and get and not give and take. And any transaction based on give and get is already service. So service is always confused with, I don't know, servitude or charity, right? It's always confused with that. And then you look at organizations like the UN, which can never survive without volunteers. You look at these big organizations which cannot do without volunteership. And volunteership is, if you have a list of skills, probably it's right on top. No organization cannot survive. It's not possible. You look at all the skills that people are trying to develop now: team spirit, bonding, working together, feeling that it's a sense of group achievement, all of that. How does it come about? So the word service and seva are very different. Gurukulam instills transactions of give and get, wherein automatically and that can only be done. Like I know when you were talking initially, there was a lot of thing about satisfaction in their work also. So automatically service becomes a state where you reach when you're having self-contentment. Once you're not having self-contentment, you don't reach that place. And if you reach that place, it's the highest that a human being can reach. But is there appreciation for that? Like you all said, yes, parents would really like the children to have that sense of charity, and because they consider it as a value. So on your weekends for 2 hours, if you go and help the blind, you're awesome. They connected so much with morality and ethics and values, and a certificate that you can get at the end of it, or at least a picture that you can take and put it up on your status and say, my son did Annadanam today, or something like that. It is contributing. It seems, apparently, it looks like you're being a contributor, but then it's actually seeking validation for an empty space within. So when we speak about service itself, if the world is not ready for it, if this society is not ready for it, does your child really need the Gurukulam? If you're not a parent who can have that respect, that sanctified respect for a person who has reached that state of self-contentment, and that state of self-contentment as a byproduct, you can see this person being with everybody and wanting to serve and wanting to contribute. Because children by nature, they're designed to be contributors. They don't learn anything apart from that. They want to contribute. They want to jump off from the sofa and show you that they can do something. They won't do it if you're not there, because you smiling and looking at it is important for them. They feel that they want to contribute into the family. So it is natural for them to become that. And such a great state of self-contentment. Now, look at the part of community. When I've seen parents of Leela Gurukulam go out for an outdoor activity, or let's say they're out on a picnic or something, none of the people outside can recognize which child is whose, which parent is who's the mother of which child, and who's the father of which child, and everyone are appas and ammas for that child. And every end of every quarter, we have the Kala Sangama, the celebration. And whenever we have the celebration, I assure you, if an outsider comes, you will not know this family is cheering for this child and this parent is cheering for that child. The kind of appreciation that children get from everybody, that is one strength of a community that I can see with Leela Gurukulam parents. Needless to say, the disruption happens when the grandparents come in. They will clap only when their grandchild goes. They will have complaints on why their grandchild has not got this appreciation. When they come 4-5 times for 4-5 celebrations, they understand that that's not how it's working here. It's very difficult and very, very different from them compared to how they've attended an annual day function or a prize distribution function at their child's school, where they knew where to clap and the rest of it was formality. Here, even if it is not your child, somebody's father is jumping up and down in the chair because this child has performed properly or beautifully. So, is everybody ready for that sense of community? Proverbially, we're all happy to say, okay, you need a village to raise a child. But when you get that village, are you there to be a villager? And if you're not, then is the sense of community and the sense of service really important, because most of the people who come together to live in a community also are driven by some kind of a philosophy. And as long as you adhere to that philosophy, you feel a sense of unity. So the minute you say community coming together, on the basis of a philosophy or an ideology, it stunts your growth. It doesn't let you grow anymore. You have to adhere to it, because your identity as part of that community is because you're adhering to it. So can we really call that community? And is everyone far-sighted enough to understand where humanity is going? We will all have to come together to win. It's not possible individually, any one person becoming something. We are reaching a place of equilibrium. So what are we waiting for? Some alien attack, is it?
Yeah, probably that will unite us.
Probably that will, right? An alien attack. So we all are here. If you're an entrepreneur today, you start a production unit, you know how important the people who work for you are. If they are not growing, you are not growing. So that time is over when you have to compete and fight for survival. That time is over with the generation of your parents. If you don't know how to be collaborative and if you can't grow as a community, there's no future. And if someone can't see that, someone can't see the importance of being in a state of service, then Gurukulam is definitely not for that child. It's injustice to that child. So we get the point. Let's move on, Bharatji. You have to call for reinforcements now, Nutanma.
Yes. People who are in attendance.
Are we
kindly-
4-2 or 3-3 now?
We have 4-2.
Okay.
We are also, yeah.
All right. The
Huh.
next topic that we are looking at is that it helps children understand their unique place in the universe.
Yes, because you can say self-awareness will reduce comparison, and it'll build a certain sense of confidence which is rooted in purpose. So if we see, like, it's all a numbers game, and it's all I mean, we've spoken about it. It's such a competitive world. So, you find that every single person, be it a child, unfortunately, or a full-grown adult, everything is in comparison with everybody else around them. And not enough that, we've had to compare ourselves and our ways of living or our status and our accumulation to our near relatives and friends and neighbors. Now it has covered everybody on the globe. Now we look at people, influencers on social media, and then we have that aspirations or inferiority complex, because everybody is posting the best side of them on this one, constantly comparing ourselves to others, and that feeling of I am not good enough. And it's unfortunate, but that is there. And so this leaves you hollow within, and a complete again, a feeling of lack of something missing, and it leads to several other consequences. So
And
the good
again,
thing is the Gurukulam system, completely does not give room for that at all. There is a strong self-awareness that is there, and there is a strong sort of enjoyment and happiness in whatever you are. And there is such a sense of pride that you're not willing to, want to be like anybody else or change yourself for anything. So it's in line.
And again, where is this sense coming in? The previous part that you mentioned, right? So
What
where
sense?
does when you said Gurukulam gives a sense of uniqueness, but then when you look at it from the other way, it is not the children are feeling that there's competition and that and this. Again, where do you think that stems out of?
You're talking about people outside of the Gurukulam system.
Yeah, naturally. When you said Gurukulam gives this, and if you're missing it from the society as
Constant
such,
conditioning, no, Bharatji,
from
because from society, from near and dear ones. To add to that, there is so much of influence over the internet itself, and there is add to that, there is so much of propaganda that happens, and there are agendas. Our entire narratives are set by other people, and other things that are happening, from advertising to all advertisements are made like that. To become this, use this.
Mhm.
To change yourself. Nobody tells you that you're
You're
fine.
good the way you are.
You're perfect the way you are. You're complete the way you are.
Mhm.
You are made like this for a reason. So everything around you are constantly 24/7, surrounded by conditioning from different forms. You are stopped from, realizing that you are enough. So where is this sense coming from? Where is it not coming from, Bharatji?
So I think it again goes back to the previous point that we were discussing about, right? So if you have to have that uniqueness and you need to appreciate it and
Yeah,
understand
you do
where you
have
are
that
placed in the universe,
uniqueness.
right?
Huh.
As a child, being in the Gurukulam that needs to be celebrated, saying you are this,
Yes.
right? So maybe you're really good at sports, but not in creative arts,
Which is
right? This is
okay.
this is where
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
But then what happens again is that when you look at it, it feels like there is something that is a gap that needs to be filled, and people try to add to that gap, saying, "Oh, okay, there is a little bit of a push that I can do and get you
Always.
onto
Yes.
doing
Yes.
something
There is
better."
always a sense of like, again, you mean outside of the Gurukulam
Yeah.
system, right? Yeah. So there is always something, some needs to be met. There is some achievement to be done. There is always that mile that you are expected to run after to become something else, to achieve something else. So this constant thing is there.
So when you get all of those accolades and everything, does it not in a way make you unique from other people? All the things that I did, all the things that I learned, all those nice things that I am a person who can be a very good musician at the same time be a very good football player and that and this, because I've been through so many trainings and I've done all of that. I am like a single person orchestra or a single person entertainment unit where I can do everything. Wouldn't
Yes.
that make something? I am a unique person who's doing that, all of those
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah. If it has come from within, then why not? I'm
Not
not saying it should be a
not by
master of one.
from within, but I've gone
Yes,
through
when you're
multiple
being
things.
conditioned, then you'll have to ask the person who has achieved everything, now, whether they have found themselves in any one of those things or all of those things, or is he still not happy?
So, sorry, come again on the point.
I'm saying now, say
Uh-huh.
there is a child and the parents have forced
Hmm.
him to do this also and that also, to do this sport also, that sport also, learn this instrument also
Hmm.
and stuff. And yes, I mean, see, human beings are very they're like clay. They can be
Hmm.
molded into anything. So
Hmm.
anybody who is put in this structure, who is pushed into doing something, he will achieve, absolutely. But will he find himself there in doing that? Yes, there could be. Yes, absolutely. Some may. But is it true for everybody? Then what about the other 100, children who have not done that? So,
Why go through the Gurukulam through the whole thing of this, where I
mm,
can maybe I can send my kid to 10 different classes, put him in a music class, into the arts, clarify to martial arts, chess, and think of it that I have 8 hours before the child goes to sleep after coming back from whatever the place they go to. I can send her to 8 different classes. Let her
yes,
figure out what is it that fits me. Why can I not do that by
you
experiment?
by experiment.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
Because
send my
that's
kid
what
to
it
all these
is. It is
classes.
an experiment.
Go. I mean, that's
Had
what
you
happens, right?
known, had you,
I have so many classes around. There's a badminton class, there's a football class, there is pickleball happening, there's music class happening. I don't know what the child's uniqueness is, but I'll let the child discover by letting him explore everything that is possible out there by going to all the classes. Then you figure out what you're racing, what you're doing good at, what you're not. Then you find out your own uniqueness saying, oh, okay, this is what I am. Why not do that?
yeah, absolutely. That's what is happening. No, everybody is experimenting, trying, okay, this is in trend. This kind of classes is in trend. This kind of learning is in trend. You do this also, do this also. But ask an adult who is doing this after working 8 hours in an office, you come and then you also sit and, you do another 2, 3 different things and then wind down. It's a sort of a violence, in my opinion, on forcing another individual to do something else, which you wouldn't do for yourself. You wouldn't do that. So instead of experimenting in so many ways, have you ever sat down and observed really what is it that the child is truly, where do the child's strengths truly lie? I don't think anybody has done that. And it's a very painful exercise because they come with certain expectations in the head. The parent always has a sort of an achievement which is predetermined in their head, and they feel, oh, okay, my child needs to do this. So it is they are enforcing their agenda on the child, and then, we have the gall to say that, we are against a different system which is enforcing things upon us. Like, if we're quick to blame anything, right? We don't like it that we are forced to do so many things. I pay this tax. We have so many. We're very vociferous in our dissent with Nirmala Sitaraman's, tax conditions on us, and the privacy of AI. AI is, seeping in. Alexa is listening to us. We are being forced into so many things, but these are all agendas which are coming from the broader systems to us, and we are not okay with that. But by experimenting in so many things, we are not realizing that there are predetermined agendas in our own head that we have set for this poor little child to be I don't know, pushed into a sugarcane drilling machine to be, juiced out and let me extract the maximum benefit. And oh, it's a crazy world. So it's like, would you do this to yourself? No, then why are you doing this to the child? Would you go to 8 different classes after 8 hours of school? No. So
It's called skill development, ma.
what about the skill that the child is
Survival skills.
Life skills.
It's actually it doesn't come from a place of harm. It doesn't come from a place of I want to do harm to my child. It comes from a place of completely not being aware or not knowing that there is, they just don't know, they just don't have the awareness that uh, uh, that there is such a beautiful way that this little flower can bloom on its own, and has its own thing to do. Just allow them. So they were brought up, that's what I'm saying, this is generational trauma that has come down. They have been raised like this, they have been brought up like this, and this is continuing, and I wish that it stops with this
And therefore don't put your child into the Gurukulam.
You should know. If you see, my simple thing is, if you have any problem in life, and it's not only about your personal life, if you have any problem with the way the society functions, if you have any problem with the way the world is working, I think you should put your child in the Gurukulam system, because that's what I'm saying. If otherwise, if you are so silent, like your life is so blissful that there are no problems in it, and you don't have a single problem with the way the world is working, then you're in a good place. You are the right person to be raising your child. Then you don't need not only the Gurukulam system, you don't need any kind of system for your child. So
because you are the greatest education for your child. So bang on.
Exactly. So only those people should be allowed to, comfortably raise their children without the influence of any kind of a system in place.
Should they be the only ones allowed to have children?
Ideally, but no, that's not. That would be ideal, no?
This section of the video has to be properly edited so that we don't get into any of the controversies.
Okay. No.
I think, sorry, ma.
Sorry, I think I just wanted to take on both Bharatji and Nutanma for a bit. You both focused a lot on the unique and you forgot the entire statement of the Gurukulam. Raiva, did you notice that?
Self-awareness.
Yeah, okay, I'll wait to hear what Raiva has to say.
So what I noticed, the entire line that we were talking about was unique place in the universe. So I'll take the universe angle more, because the first thought that comes when we talk about a person's uniqueness is their skills and talents. It's very natural, it comes about. Even teenagers now, to become unique, they try to have one extreme talent or a skill nobody else has. But that's a very base level thing or very surface level thing that happens. But when we look at the entire sentence of unique place in the universe, I don't feel the society today is ready for, like, the Gurukulam is for today's world when you look at that entire sentence, because as somebody who's part of the Gurukulam system, as somebody who's guiding parents and children, the word unique means unique. It comes with a design which people can perceive as a defect also. So are we in a place today where we can accept a defect also as a design and not look at it as a defect? A child in its completeness is born, is in the universe to contribute to something to the universe. We might probably in our human intelligence not know why exactly a child is born the way the child is born, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So there might be developmental issues in any of these four domains. We might perceive it as an issue because it might not match the normal of the society today.
Yes.
But are we in a place today where we can accept it? No. We are very quick to bracketing these children. Like, do special children have a place in the society? Yes, they do. As special children, we don't look at them as children. We don't even like right now our situation is that we have special children, we have disabled children, we have children. In like with our normal definition itself, we do so many divisions. For the universe, each child is a child. Each child is a human being contributing back. But I don't think we right now as a society are in a place to accept that it could be a diagnosed special child, it could be a normal child having something else going on within them, a child with a unique construct, or a child completely, let's say, handicapped in any of these levels. Still, that child has something to contribute into the universe. I don't think as a society we are in a place to accept that harmoniously. We are more in a mechanical mindset key something needs to be repaired, or this child needs to be repaired, or the system needs to be repaired to support the child. The child doesn't need that kind of a support. The child needs support to express who they are. Not so right now where we are, the support that we give disabled children or special children or children who need extra help is support to fit into the normal. It's not support to express yourself. So today, from what I can observe, when we talk about support and help also, it is to make children who are not fitting into the system comfortably adjust with the system, not be who they are and contribute as they are to a new system or to a broader system. So when already with present situation and present terminologies and present institutions, we are not able to accept each child as they are, I'm not sure Gurukulam is for your child in that case. Because in the Gurukulam, each child is unique. You could be disabled, you could be mental, you could be weird like me. It doesn't matter. You have a place in the universe. You are born for something. You will contribute something and you are complete. That message I can comfortably live with because my family, my parents, and my surroundings support that. But will each person get it?
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, to be unique in the universe is, I see it like this. Like there's a department that issues ID cards and Aadhaar cards to us. Parents are the one who give the identity cards to their children. Right? So parents give the idea of which home you belong to, which community you belong to, which religion you belong to, which city you belong to, which country you belong to, and where in the animal kingdom are you? Right? So you know that you are a Homo sapien, you're a human being because your parents have given you that identity. It comes with your DNA, right? That identity becomes the basis of how I begin my life. If a parent is not giving the identity to a child that you are also an existing universal being, then the matter of uniqueness itself does not come. Because if in a Gurukulam, every learner goes through that identity that I'm a universal being first. I'm a spiritual being, I'm a cosmic being. And then it comes down to, okay, this is my community, these are my parents, this is my family, and this is my body. I'm also a biological being, I'm a chemical being, I'm a physical being. All those identities come together to a child. When the ID card of being a universal citizen itself is not given, then where is the question of you are unique in the universe? When the Gurukulam guides the child to an identity of Aham Brahmasmi, I am the entire universe. Me living and existing itself is what I'm giving back to this universe. That's my connection with me and the universe. When the Gurukulam teaches that, and a parent is like music class, dance class, piano class, chess class, where is the identity of the child? So if you're looking at, there are people who come and ask, I want my child to be admitted in the Gurukulam because I want my daughter to be a great leader. I want my daughter to be to get some, extra siddhis and, all this nonsense that happens of that brain activation, this brain activation, 14th eye activation and all that. So a lot of things that people expect, suddenly this child is going to get some siddhis and do some circus. But then the idea is if you're looking for that, and if most of the people are looking for that, then the Gurukulam system is not for your child. Right? 5-2.
You're on
Sorry.
mute, Nutan.
No, I was saying yes. Okay. I will willingly give that point by just ending with this note that the universe is too intelligent to make any kind of mistakes. But if your intellect is higher than the universe and you know better, then the Gurukulam is not for you.
Oh my God, that was a roast.
So this is This is a trade-off now. Take it, give it for the last thing that she said.
I know. Yeah, I guess. See, the only place we had to give the team, both of them, the points were, where was it? It was in a place where parents have no issue with it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The cosmic and the nature, cosmos and nature. They got 2 solid points. We have 2 more to cover to finish our first 9.
Yes. So the next
Do we
point.
get this?
uh,
Status quo? Half point.
this is an interesting one again. Gurukulam education fosters a lifelong love for learning.
Yes.
I'll probably jump to Notanma's side for this one.
I had a
Yeah,
feeling
I
you'll do
don't
that.
really
I
have
had a
to
feeling
make
you'll
my
do that.
argument, but yeah, for the sake of awareness for people outside the Gurukulam system, uh, there is this urgency to finish school so fast and just be done with education, and so I can start living my life. uh but that doesn't happen with anybody who goes through the Gurukulam education. And they have this innate love for learning. They will not stop learning. And I got to this Gurukulam for my children, and I ended up our entire family is with the Gurukulam, because we have just come to a point of just learning, I mean loving to learn, and it's continuing. And there is such an innate joy in knowing more and more and more and more. And to this, I just there a quote comes to my mind. Joe Hudson says that the metric for efficiency is enjoyment. So it can be applied to any aspect in life, basically. I like that quote very much, and it can be applied to anything. So if you take it up to education itself, the efficiency of that education system lies in the enjoyment that happens in the learning. And so Gurukulam absolutely allows that. And there is a certain a big sense of joy when it comes to learning. And all the children and all the parents and all the families associated with the Gurukulam love to learn. And our dearth for knowledge has not dried up. It will not dry up. And we love to learn. So
And just to expand on that, I feel the core basis of the Gurukulam, one of the basic foundations and one of the main aims, if I can put it across that way, is to make a child a self-learner. Because first thing from the Gurukulam point of view, we look at Gurukulam we look at education as a process of facilitating learning. So we don't look at it as a teaching equals learning model at all. Learning is an occurrence which happens within a child. A child is not a zero knowledge and we start pouring in knowledge into it so that it reaches 0 to 100. No, it's not like that. A child is all knowledge, has all the knowledge within. There is an occurrence called learning that happens, and that needs to be facilitated. So the entire Gurukulam system, be it any Gurukulam in the past or now what we are doing with Leela Gurukulam, we as play mentors, we only make an environment apt to facilitate learning. The learning happens within the child. And when a child from the age of, let's say, 0, or for in our case, from preconception, is in that environment where facilitation of learning is being promoted and is being nurtured, it is only obvious that if that is what is practiced for 18 years of their life, lifelong learning will be instilled in them. And I don't think any parent over here throughout generations will not want their child to learn, because we have to learn and adapt. Even a parent who has, let's say, no idea about education learning, doesn't really think much about it, knows that COVID aega, yes, hame bhi apne, our way of working has to change. We have to, the word adapt, all parents are aware of that. Children need to adapt. How do people adapt? Children or adults need to adapt with new situations or new things that happen in life. How do they adapt? With learning. How does learning happen? Learning is a process that, it's an occurrence which happens, and we can facilitate that occurrence, and that is what the Gurukulam is aiming for. So that way I feel this one point, that the reason why I jumped, I feel it's something that parents might kind of know that they want for their child, they might not know how. Definitely, each parent would want their child to be in a place where they can adapt to new situations. And the core principle of Gurukulam itself is that a child is all knowledge, learning is uh, a self process, and we make children self learners so that they can become lifelong learners. And when that process is so natural and automatic within us, there is a love that develops for it. Like for me personally, and for anybody, like Nutanma was saying, a day where we have not done anything like which might externally look unproductive is okay for us, but a day where probably we have not learned something, and by learn I don't mean going on Google and researching on some topic,
Yeah.
but with a life situation or with anything that's happening, what every time we are hit with a problem, right, the first thing we think of is not how to solve this, but what is it that I have to learn for which life
Learn
is
from
throwing
this.
this at me.
Yes. That's a whole
That's a thought that
perspective
hits
shift. Yeah.
first. So yeah, definitely for any time during like it could be the past, present, future, learning is something that I feel everybody knows is needed.
This
Yeah.
is again a very hard topic to debate against or to. Uh, I'm too much lean towards this, but
Bharat
the,
ji, what are you doing? I'll be left alone.
there is one thing, Mat, say, if you are learning for something like I want to learn to get myself a good title on my LinkedIn profile or my visiting card, which is done and dusted now. If that is the kind of learning that you're looking at, today I learned something, tomorrow I'll apply and become something or get something out of it, then that is not what the Gurukulam is for. You may not have the fancy titles. You will not have the fancy 6-digit, 7-digit numbers that you are aiming for. And you're not going to be an expert at something by the way we deal with learning at the Gurukulam. But if that is what you're not looking for, I don't know, I think put too many negatives in the sentence. So if that is the case, Gurukulam is not the one for it. So Gurukulam would, with all the learning that you are doing here, you would get a title of expert of living, expert of wisdom. If that is not what you're looking for, don't.
Okay, let me try countering this. Okay, I will ask 10 questions, and between Nutanma and Raiva, you'll have to answer in yes or no. It's just a yes or no question. Okay, so I'll probably have 9 or 10 questions, or probably even lesser than that. Okay, but here's the deal. By the time I reach the last question, okay, that's when we'll see where we are. Okay, so here's a question. I'll start. Okay. Do maximum number of people know that learning is different from studying?
No. They equate learning to studying.
Raiva, you?
Yeah, I said no. They
No.
don't.
Okay.
Yep.
So lifelong learning is going to translate into lifelong studying for them, right?
Yes.
When they're waiting for studying to get over. Because
Yes.
studying should get over, should get validated, and it should lead to something. So my first question's answer is no. Okay.
Mm.
Do maximum number of people know, have experienced, or are aware that the learning of self-knowledge is the highest joy for a human being?
They don't know.
So it's a no again?
Yes.
Okay. Do maximum number of people know that like a leaf is designed for photosynthesis, a human being is designed for learning? That's the purpose we are here. Do people know that?
No.
No.
Okay. Do most people know that what we learn is manifesting as our life experience? Do people know that?
No.
Okay. Fifth one. Do people know that what content you learn changes who you are, even up to the physical level?
No.
Even up to the level of having diseases. The content that you learn can even manifest as health and immunity for you. Do people have that idea? No?
No.
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 Does your child need Gurukulam?
If they knew
You are
that the
coming.
answer
You're
to all
coming in
the
one.
questions.
You're coming in one series. No. Continue.
if they knew that the answers to all of these questions is a yes, I'm sure that they will say yes.
So it's a hypothetical situation. It's not a reality situation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince you people that Gurukulam is it's not needed for your child. Bharat
Yes.
Ravi 6-2.
Yes.
Done. Move on. Yeah, and Driver and Nutanma have to fight harder now, okay?
Okay. This is, I think, it going back. It's got a good connection to all the things that we've
Got a
been
good
discussing.
connection. Bharat, shall we change parties now?
It grounds children in their cultural and spiritual roots. Why is culture and spiritual roots important, necessary in an age where everything is coming together into one single being? Internet is bringing people together. People are talking and dating people across the world. Different cultures coming together, different uh, spiritual backgrounds, acceptance. They're all meeting each other, having a party at a coffee shop. Why is this required?
And this is one of the things I get from most of the people I've met regarding Gurukulam when they come and speak to me. When amongst parents, there's one of the spouse who's very interested. Most of the answers of the previous point also was yes, 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 yes for that person. That person is very interested in the Gurukulam system, but the spouse is not.
Hmm.
Because usually they get a dialogue and they all know that the child is going to get very grounded in spiritual and cultural roots. And for both spiritual and cultural, there is a misunderstanding of religious. And the idea of teaching religion to the child. And then there is immediately Gurukulam bhej ke bacche ko sannyasi banana hai kya types. Right. So you're going to get this anchoring into spiritual. What are you trying to do? Turn your child into a monk. What many people don't realize is this process of self-learning is done a hard way through entrepreneurship. Most of the people who are getting into become entrepreneurs are actually going into a path of self-discovery. Many people don't realize that this groundedness is a very essential thing, not just for your child's life, but also for your child's career. You're living in a world where many cultures and many ethnic identities are coming together. If you're not rooted in your own, how are you going to be with the others? If somebody from Bharata goes to some other country and somebody asks them, what is the essence of your culture? What can they answer? They can show symbols. Okay, we have this ancient temple, we have this food, we have this festival, we have this dress. But apart from that, what can they answer? So does Gurukulam give groundedness? Yes. Do people want that groundedness? Actually, yes. Almost every parent is like, let my child learn some shloka or something. They like it. Most parents look for children to know something about their culture, know something about, their spiritual wisdom. But that's all great, like an extracurricular part-time. Is where I am, but I would definitely give this point to Nutanma.
Yeah, and I think we'll take it also. Because
Yeah.
those very things that even Bhariji were mentioning, right? When we are moving more towards a global thing, dating people from different cultures, that is where you need your culture more. Okay, it's all fun till dating, and you get married, you have a child, then the differences start. Should it be, even if let's say North Indian marries a South Indian, now should it be the South Indian traditional rituals, North Indian traditional rituals, where should it go? If you are rooted to your culture and you know where it's stemming from, it's not about the expression of the culture, but what your culture actually stands for. And in our case, it is a culture of learning and growing. You know, everything is an expression of that. So it's just an expression that you're picking, and you can pick the expression based on whichever is suited for your surroundings right now. So if you're in a global setup for work, you will not feel disconnected from your culture. If let's say if I have to go give a talk on Gurukulam somewhere where they have a dress code and kurta and sari is not part of the dress code, because I'm rooted to my culture, I don't have identity crisis by wearing a suit. It's because I'm internally rooted to my culture. But for somebody for whom it is a huge, who's not rooted to their culture and only the symbols of their culture keep them attached to their culture, for them it's a huge attack to the identity. So I feel
Right.
the more we are going towards globalization, the more this is needed.
Absolutely, yeah. And I just want to add that, the word culture in itself is actually, it's a Latin word, and the meaning of it in Latin actually comes to take care of, what the spiritual needs. So, in our Indian system, everything that is there as part of the culture is meticulously put in place to take care of the spiritual needs of every individual. So in saying that, oh, I'm a spiritual person but I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person but I am not, I'm just rejecting this, actually it makes no sense. Then you don't have a holistic view about it. Where you stand to benefit is where you embrace it and you respect it for what it is. That there are so many different things in the scheme of things that are there. You embrace it, you see it, you respect it, and you take what you want from it and use it for your own taking care of your spiritual needs. So there is a very, very meticulous reason why everything is there, and it has a special place. So what appeals to you, can be embraced wholeheartedly.
The third session that we're doing today at 6 p.m. is completely based on that. So we'll get a lot of opportunity to speak about this in detail, including Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism, religion, deities. Where does all of these, how does it come and feature? So I think with this, we finished the first category of the core principles of Gurukulam. And the team that is supporting why your child does not need it wins 6 points, with the team that says no, Gurukulam is needed for every child in at 3 points. Bharaji, if it's okay, we'll take a break and come back at
Yes.
5:30.
Yeah,
And
you can
we'll
do
do
that.
the next category. And the next category is very interesting because it's about child development and how the Gurukulam's curriculum is woven around it. And I have a feeling we are going to lose that one, Bharaji, because it's too powerful on their side.
Okay. Let's
Okay.
see. We'll
Let's
fight it
see.
teeth to teeth.
Yeah, yes, let's do it.
All right. So we ended from here, starting again. Holistic education nurtures the mind, body, and the spirit equally.
Yeah, it does. And but science as we know it, what exists today's world, not exists, which is uh, predominant in today's world, has a certain disdain for this and excludes one from the other. And it does not have a holistic understanding of what a human is, honestly. If you look at it, they are all coming full circle. The new age sciences are slowly edging, slowly stepping into what our ancients have always mentioned. And it was now we are stepping into the world of quantum sciences and epigenetics, and and even that is slowly it's not outrightly rejected, but there is a sort of resistance from the existing sciences that are there, and it will take time for them to come to embrace what we have always had in our indigenous systems. And so that is why it takes a stand only when something is physically seen, or can be tested or can be experimented upon, and the same results are repeated. But it takes so much more, and it takes so much more to understand what a human being is truly made of, and we are such complex beings. And to establish an education system for universally, for everybody, has somewhere there has been shorthands. There has been a certain missing link. So holistic education should ideally uh, what was that, nurture the mind, body, and spirit. Absolutely. In fact, it is incomplete, I would say, if it ignores uh, inner well-being.
I mean, I don't know if you planted these points so that you can take away all the points after the last debacle, but this is something that it cannot be argued upon. So when you look at normal academics, it doesn't differentiate, or rather, it doesn't consider these three aspects of a human being, right? Human being is treated as a human being. The mind, body, spirit thing doesn't come into play there at all. But again, based on the demand is where the supply is. So what is it that we are looking for? So how many parents that you know understand these things, and they know that when you say talk about holistic learning, holistic education, it's not about swimming pool, horse riding, golf, cricket, football, and robotics and AI and stuff. This is something that is considering all of these things also as an equal part of a human being, which is the mind, the body, and the spirit itself. Is that the awareness that the culture or the society is ready for today? Right? If you look at any international school, this is what they flaunt, right? Higher the things that children do at the 8 hours that they spend there, that means this is where I am getting the most of it. And I'm okay. I mean, as a parent, I like, because this is something I like what we were discussing earlier. My child is getting to learn all of these things, as they call life skills, right? So why not? I mean, isn't that not enough? I mean, isn't not, it's actually more than enough, actually. It's not just about academic learning, right? It's cultivating a lot of other things. I'm teaching farming, for example. There's a lot of things happening today that children are learning farming, how to grow their own food, how to recycle, how to weave their own clothes. So these are the things that are happening, which is the skills that I'm learning, additional to the academic skills as well. So isn't
Not
that preparing
universally,
my
no?
child enough for the world next?
Sorry?
Isn't that enough for preparing my child for the world next? It's not
Is
just
it?
academically I'm good enough, but I'm also learning all of these life skills.
So let's re-inspect before we complete that, Bharatji. I'll add on. Let's understand that every second person has started using the word holistic education.
Yes.
And when you ask them how is it holistic, no, we have culture classes also, we have art and craft also, we have this. So they're just giving a variety of different skill-based activities that they're doing and calling it holistic. Now, when the Gurukulam says holistic, the word holistic, probably lack of a better word, they're using the word holistic. But the Gurukulam is saying that we are addressing the body, the mind, and the spirit. Okay. So look at these three words itself. Overall, there's also the emotional being who's being addressed, right?
Yep.
So the mind, body, spirit, and all of them equally. That's a hallmark of what a holistic education should be. Now, I'm picking up reference for this because if anyone goes back and checks out the NCFSC, National Curriculum Framework for School Education, they are starting off with the concept of Panchakosha education or holistic education, where body, mind, intellect, spirit, emotional development, all of that is being spoken about. That is being given as a guidelines for all the schools for the academic structuring as well. They're trying to give that guidelines. So when we say holistic, the way Gurukulam educates the body, for example, if you just generally ask anyone, how does education for the physical body happen at a Gurukulam, what do you think will be the most common answers?
Yoga.
Yoga,
Yoga.
pranayama.
Pranayama, Surya Namaskara, these are the things that they'll talk about.
Yep.
If they're going to talk about how a Gurukulam educates the body, right? But how does a Gurukulam educate the body? Other things are Shikshana. Of course, there are many disciplines of you can create your own structure, flexible structure of eating. But where does that come from? You can have your own structure of sleeping, waking, when you do certain physical activity. But the Gurukulam is a place where you learn to listen to your body, where the awareness of you as a body, how you're designed, and how do you listen to your body. It's not parts of the body, functioning of the liver. That's not the body I'm talking about. Your physical existence, The learning of you being here on this planet physically, what that means. That's the education for the body. And how closely connected it is with your emotional self, with your expression. How you're going to use this body to express everything that you know you can express only through the body. Then comes to mind. Mind is mental well-being, which, we have a completely different section on it. But how the Gurukulam educates you about what your mind is, what your thoughts are. And all these are not done with textbooks and homework and assignments. And that's not how it works. It works in a very, very different way. Where everybody gets stuck is when it comes to spiritual development. Holistic development, when they come to spiritual development, like I mentioned in the morning, until and unless the methodology and the technique of Tantra comes back, it will be very difficult, because Tantra is the methodology to approach the abstract. The spirit of a human being is so abstract that without that approach, any other approach is going to let you down, because most people end up calling it the intellect. The layer of intellect is what your spirit is, or what exactly is the spirit all about, right? So there, I think, yes, if you look at the point, does Gurukulam give holistic education? Yes, it does. That's definitely a yes. But is it for your child? I'll go by no again.
Why so,
Because
ma'am?
because for anything else like an academic training or a skill development, or for art and craft, there is something that the child can exhibit as sensorial evidence. Holistic development and holistic education does not provide you with sensorial evidence. So you can't plant a sapling today and expect a fruit tomorrow. So Gurukulam, holistic education, it actually, it's like growing a tree. You have to wait, and then the tree has to flower, and the flowers to become a fruit, and those things you cannot put under your schedule. So till then, it could take 10 years for one child, one tree to fruit. Another tree can take 14 years to give fruits. Another tree can just take 8 years. But as a parent, are you okay to walk this path, carrying the pressure till then, having the faith that this system will give the fruits? If you don't have that, holistic education is definitely not for you.
Yeah, there are currently, unfortunately, there are no parameters, there are no metrics to measure this thing. It is a patient and long wait, and the only way to measure this is a very personal journey, and you enjoy the fruits of this very personally and
Very personally, yeah. The little
very
sentences that they speak to you, little things that they start doing, what you just know it in your heart. You just know it in your heart that your child is reaching a very beautiful place. Sensorially, of course, you don't see the expression.
Yeah.
But then the assessments that Bharatji does with Udbhavana shows what the inner story of the child is. So holistic education also has, I can't say assessment, but we get to know the journey, the milestones of the journey very differently. And if you are a parent who's looking for things to be expressed to the child, then definitely Gurukulam education is not for your child.
If you're a long-term investor for your finances, better be a long-term investor for your child's future as well. If not, don't sign up.
Absolutely. And it's also, I mean, they don't know only that such a thing exists.
So it is not going
When
to
you
be.
don't know that there is something, how will you ever look for it?
Yeah, so let's move on. We're 7-3 now.
Every point that is given to them is a point less for humanity, and it is a loss for humanity.
Oh my God, that was she's taken it away by making that statement. Creative arts and music are integral to spiritual expression.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess this point is yours, because parents anyway want their children to learn some kind of creative arts, you know, be it weekend classes or learning some classical music or something like that. But still, I think all parents are interested in having these classes. So that way, yeah, if you're looking at, but are you looking at learning through that? in recent times, more secure parents have. Economically secure parents definitely are looking at children taking sports as a career or arts as a career. So there I find, yes, probably the Gurukulam is for your child.
Yeah, but it's again, it's such a stereotypical way of looking at creativity, where it only, the end result is you expect some sort of art form to come into existence. But it's not that. Creativity is, it can be anything. Creativity is what leads to innovation of different things, and it's just expressing yourself in whatever way that is there. That is called creativity. And creativity is the nature of the spirit, and to help people outside the Gurukulam system to understand it, it is the nature of the soul. So unless you create something, there is always a sense of dissatisfaction. So you can create anything. So
between Bharat and me, I think Bharatji, this point we'll have to just surrender, because
Yes.
yeah, the founder of the reinventor of 64 Kala Shakti is sitting there.
Yes.
The person who's brought 64 Kalas back in this yuga. So we have nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that point. So for me, it connects back to the first point, which we just lost. But the thing is, it is see, when we look at a human being, we look at it when a Gurukulam looks at a human being. It's not as per an agenda ki, okay, at the age of 18, because you have to get into a company, all this you have to learn. That bunch of prerequisites is not what we call education. Education is built on a parameters that, okay, we look at a human being as an energy being, all of these body, emotion, mind, spirit, all of them being forms of energy and how they are interacting. One thing in previous conversation that we were all expressing, I'm forgetting, it's about, those personal things, Utama, you're talking about, right? It is some conversation you will have with your child. It's sparked because of the Gurukulam journey, or it is some different observation you are having about your own self as a parent or your child. You will know it's because of the Gurukulam. But still, when we have that Kala Sangama where we come together, and we have everything that we are learning in these personal journeys, all the transformation, energy transformation that must be happening within us and as learners, when that takes a creative expression in any art form, there is a certain joy we all as human beings get. That is why in our culture, art forms are given equal importance. It is as important as the kriyas or the pujas and everything, because it's almost, dance is a puja, music is puja. That's why the way classical art forms are learned, and the same thing will go for modern art forms. Anything that allows you to express your learning or yourself is as divine as, let's say, divinity itself, or the act of doing puja, prayers. So
absolutely.
that way, it's an expression of what's being learned. Will people understand what holistic is? No. But still, if a child makes a flower pot and shows the parent is happy. So that way, I do feel, yeah. Do people get what creative art or expression from the Gurukulam's point of view means? Probably no. But like Mirama said, any parent, even if a child just takes thumbprints and creates an art and shows the parent is always happy.
Yeah.
So that way we can take the point.
Given and moving on. Student engage in practical life skills and self-sufficiency.
I'll be honest, as somebody who talks to parents, especially as admission inquiries, this is a tough one to win.
Mhm.
From Nutanma's point of view, from the Gurukulam's point of view.
Again, going back to the same point, right? For all the skills that are academically taught, there is a scale to grade you, validate you, and saying you have achieved this, right? And by the means of achieving that, by having a degree certificate or a certificate to do something, you kind of have a commitment or a hope that you'll land a job somewhere or something like that. There is an assurance that is always attached to a expression of a skill or a learning that is happening, which is what majority of the people go by, saying, okay, this guy can sing, he's got a good skill there in singing, he can become a singer, he can become an artist. So he, by Doing that, he'll be able to earn for himself or herself. That is the means or the norm that we all have. And when it comes to the skills that we were talking about earlier, right? You're developing yourself as a person, as an individual, the mind, body, and the spirit. When does that come to express itself? It may take longer than what a typical skill expressed or learned with a grading system would. But when that comes, it does a lot of difference. But then there's a long wait period there for all your investments to give you the returns. The waiting time is a lot longer, and you need to be really ready for it. But when that happens, the kind of returns that you get is immense with a
Mhm.
long-term investment. But here, this is what we are looking for. I need to have some skills. I learn all of these things. Like, for example, we were talking about earlier, right? I can learn swimming. I learned horse riding. I'm learning music. I'm learning sports and everything. I could pick up any one of those things as a career and live my life with it. Why? And this is enough. I'm sorted.
Yes, but then the self-worth of the person is attached to only horse riding. But when a child goes through the Gurukulam system, they are in fact learning to live every moment, and their self-worth is not attached to anything that they are doing. So they are complete in every moment, whether they are doing anything or not doing anything, whether they're choosing a career in this field or that field. So they are completely independently living by their own uh, volition, by their own decisions, and they enjoy every moment of it. So they don't have to go looking for things or running after things, or in trying to be somebody or trying to beat this person and that person at something, or trying to achieve. So their self, they are complete in themselves every moment. So their worth is not attached to riding a horse, or or all of the other, or a job or a certificate or an award. They are fine with it, without it also. So that kind of self-sufficiency is achieved here, and that's a big win for me.
Hmm. But Reva, unless you want to add something.
Yeah. See, I'll tell from I right now see even I don't know which way to go about it. Uh, I get asked, okay, when I'm doing these inquiry calls and everything, people ask me more about Gurukulam. What about social skills? Because that's also part of life skills. Or what about physical activity? Because kids are, mostly playing with toys and things like that, or you're doing craft-based activities. I have like this basic doubt. If you have nothing to communicate, what use is a language for you?
Mm.
So if life itself is the concept of life itself, relationships, everything is not in place, what will you do with practical life skills? So that is where, as I don't say it out on calls to parents, but in the back of my mind, honestly, unfiltered, this is what goes on. Okay, you want a child to socialize. Let that child first build the capacity to have relationships, be in a place where all that's set before they can start life skills. Mein kya kya aata hai? Communication, all of that. Is your child in that place where it's first learned, built your own identity so that they start using it? But yeah, do parents want it? They want it. So I am like that way. I know the importance of it, but I also know what parents want. Some kind of tone between these two worlds right now.
That's again expecting the child to meet some standards in the parents' head. So
Yeah, see, and one thing that happens in a Gurukulam system, right, is that the child is learning skills and learning. We spoke about this part later on. I mean, earlier, a child falls in love with learning, and it becomes a lifelong learning. So I've picked up something. I learn more. I learn something new. I learn something else. That's something that keeps on happening. Where you see like it's an endless learning that is happening, which is not being applied practically. But what am I learning it for? I'm learning it to build something big inside me, becoming aware of a lot of other things that may come in handy as I go forward. And like what Ma was mentioning earlier, what I learn becomes what I am, be it my diseases, what I can manifest, what kind of a job I land. This is something that happens. So the child is learning different things at different parts of time, and it looks like they're not on a specific going by the terms learning path, right? For example, I have to go into becoming a physicist. I need to go learn the basics of physics, and then the next one, then the next level of physics, and then I master into something. So there is a path towards it. That's how it is looked at. But here, there is a lot of learning happening around everything. Though it looks random to look at outside, but it is a lot of learning that's happening around it. Is it something that people can understand and be okay with saying, okay, looks like the child is learning something to do with cooking, and also learning something to do with biology and chemistry, and at the same time learning about emotions and rasas. It looks like so many different things are happening there. What are you getting at? What will you do with all of these skills? Is something that the parents cannot settle down for, right? We cannot settle down for that because there so many things which looks unconnected to each other. But what it does is something that we all understand from what we were discussing earlier. If people are okay with it, because we all come from that conditioning that we know how the schooling happens. You can go to 10th standard only after you've done the 8th standard or the 9th standard, and then go to 10th standard, right? If there's that linear approach towards it,
Yeah.
right? So if that is not there, and this is how organically learning happens, nobody's sitting you down and saying you're going to learn this at the end of this activity or an exercise, would people still be okay with it? Because I'm not giving you a curriculum or a structure like first period is going to be math, and then the next class is going to be science, and then English, and then there's a lunch break, and then there is a structure. There's no structure. The learning is happening organically. An entire quarter, somebody learns about some topic, nothing else. So what happened to the science topics that we dealt with last quarter? This quarter, you're not even talking about it. Are you okay with it? Where's the continuity? What happened? First grade kid, second grade, it's not coming through. It's something completely different. What happened to the things that you learned in the previous class? That doesn't happen. Right? There's something new that's added on, which will come back as a connection later on, but you don't see that as a linear thing here because it's not a linear process at all. Would a parent be okay with it?
In today's age, it's very difficult, I feel, because there is like, see, wherever the word self comes, we have to go back to self-knowledge. A child who's nurtured in self-knowledge, is rooted in self-knowledge, is a self-learner, will automatically pick up practical life skills based on whatever is practical for the child.
Yes.
Writing is not a practical life skill for many children today. It's typing.
Yeah, exactly. And going forward into the
Yeah.
future, you don't need that. I mean, even typing will be gone. You need to
Yeah,
learn
you
how to
could just
talk.
dictate.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
So that
self-sufficiency. Sorry, go
that
ahead.
self-sufficiency and practical life skill, they will know what they have to pick up when and pick it up because they'll be nurtured in that space. But like you said, will a parent be okay not having defined life skill taught to a child at a certain age? I think it's genuinely difficult for them. And because I've been on calls with parents, 15 minutes in the beginning, they're like, I want my child to be open and free. I don't want my child to fall under pressure because of others. Half an hour later into the call, when I ask them, okay, this is how the system will work. We'll need your support over here. Their first doubt will be, I cannot take the child out of the extracurricular classes because I want the child to interact with other beings. So you don't want the child to feel pressurized by others, but you also want them to interact because you feel they are learning some life skills over there. So I feel, so I asked the parent directly, aren't you contradicting yourself? And she just laughed. She's like, yeah, I don't know what to do about it. So I feel, Nuthanma, genuinely, I don't feel parents, even if they know it, there's something within them which doesn't connect. Or something within them which they will know, okay, probably my child doesn't need to be exposed to these hard skills right now. But will they be okay, the child marinating in self-knowledge for some time? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes immense faith on the part of a parent and a certain sense of resilience, to stand firm in no matter what are the expectations that anybody has of, like, I am just cutting myself off there. I have to put it simply, it's going from a state of being sleeping to waking up and realizing that it's not required. The world is changing. So what you deem as a practical life skill today may not even be relevant tomorrow. So, but the Gurukulam system enables a child to have that sense of flexibility and adaptability to not even survive, to to thrive in any kind of condition or changing times that they are exposed to or living in. They will be able to thrive in it and even pioneer in it, because they are not closed up in a certain skill that, that they have been boxed into or anything. They are open to, exploring, experimenting, challenging, and accomplishing. So but on the parents' side, if they can stand firm without interfering, I think that will be a great service that they will do to the child.
Going by the confidence in the tone, I'll take a point. Because self-sufficiency, this is what it is, right? The child learns, adapts, and learns what it is. It's not like I'm set on a path to become a doctor.
Exactly.
On the way, I find something which might be my real stuff, and this is what is required for the future. I'll change course and do that. That is what a Gurukulam kid can do, but the society won't. You spend 4 years.
Society doesn't accept that.
Yeah, you spend
It's
4 years
but it's such
becoming
a
a doctor, and now
naturally,
you're changing and becoming a pilot. Oh, what the hell?
yeah. There are no expectations set on the child like that. In fact, it is not in the state of being for a human being. What
Yeah,
we
but the
learn, what
society
we
is
want, we keep changing. So it can change in 5 years, in 10 years. But our interests, our need to explore and create will keep changing. But how comfortable are you allowing your child? But firstly, do you even have a say in it? So these are things that it needs deep reflection on a parent's side, and that's
yeah.
what.
So
To
as long
put
as
it
you
simply,
cannot come to terms with the dynamics as
yeah,
being normal, this is
yeah,
not what it
yeah.
is. So I have taken a point already. So wait. It encourages emotional intelligence and empathy. This
Huge, huge, huge topic. So
Yeah, I think anybody who's rooted
social,
in their own self, emotions are part of it. So, how your emotions work, how the other person's emotions work. First of all, a student of the Gurukulam is never told what to feel.
Yeah.
Feelings are not to be controlled. That's where it starts from. But the society we live in judges us based on our reaction and wants us also to, calculate ourselves based on our reactions, which is not how the whole feeling system works. But does the Gurukulam encourage emotional intelligence and empathy? I think emotions are a huge part, given sometimes even more importance. We are emotional beings at the end of the day. So the Gurukulam does have it at the center to make sure we have emotionally healthy children. And I think that's what every parent wants, but I'm not sure whether parents know whether they have a visualization of it. Like physical health, there is some visualization that, okay, this is what physical health looks like. But I'm not even sure, like, when it comes to this topic, whether parents today or generally the society has a visualization of an emotionally healthy person. Do they want it? Yeah. But without having a visualization of what you want, I don't know how strong that want is.
and there are so many expectations that are laid out as far as emotional expressions are concerned by society in itself. Like, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, this is this is permissible, this is unthinkable. So but yeah, the Gurukulam system, like Raiva very rightly put it, does not interfere at all in that sense on emotional intelligence and of emotions itself. To simply put it, I think uh, to have emotional fluidity is freedom in itself, where you are able to feel and express it as you're feeling, as you wish. So it doesn't limit you in that. It doesn't set any expectations on the child and the person in the Gurukulam system. It in fact frees you, and that is a huge freedom in itself, that it's okay whatever you're feeling. They get a complete understanding of what emotions are, and it's just a field to play and nothing else. And it does not define you. And but the society works in such a different way. It says that control your emotions. There are anger management classes, and these are the kind of tropes that are put aside. So we sort of vilify emotions, but what we fail to understand is that we are emotional beings. I can't help feeling. I have a feeling about everything, about and from that feelings will flow my decisions, my opinions, my beliefs, and everything. So if I am free to feel, and that freedom is not there currently, unfortunately, and that freedom is not there. There are expectations set at so many different levels. So the Gurukulam system truly frees the child in that sense. And then the child is not scared of feeling or expressing what their emotions are.
Yeah. See, this is exactly what happens, right? When you talk about emotion and emotional intelligence, there are two different things. Parents do not let the child express anger, express dejection, express being, what do you call, depression as one thing that happens. Most of the people, it becomes a correction. As soon as a child says something, I'm angry, I don't feel like doing it. Parents just listen, why should you be angry? Why don't you look at it this way? Try to course connect it. If a file is feeling dejected, saying, I don't want to do it right now, I'm not feeling like I am in the space, I'm not in the mindset to do it right now. It always try to go, okay, let's go out, do something, and come back, and then maybe you'll feel better. There is something that happens. And another thing that is what we need to look at is, if a child comes back and says, I am bored, will you tell a child it's okay to be bored? Be bored. That is when creativity comes out of it. But will you let the child be bored and not feed into the boredom by giving it some activity or something to engage with, and say, okay, you're bored, put on the TV. I'll give you a set of cards. I'll put you into a class, because every day at 6 o'clock you get bored. I'll put you into a badminton class at 6 o'clock. This is what we do, right? This is how exactly it is supposed to be done, because you cannot deal with it. If a child comes back and says, I cannot do it right now because I'm not feeling well about it, feeling good about it, I'm not in peace with what I'm doing, I cannot let it be as a parent. I need to do something to fix it for my child. Because I, as a parent, I take the overall responsibility to say, I need to fix anything that's going on with my child. I don't let the child channelize it, because I cannot do it. I mean, I don't know whether the child knows it. For me, the biggest thing is, I have been an adult. I've been through this. I've cracked the whole thing. I need to fix. I know I'm a manager. So you tell me there is a problem. You're feeling bored. You're feeling dejected. You're feeling angry, sorry, or whatever it is. I will try to fix it for you. I don't let the child channelize. I cannot let the child channelize, because I don't know if the child has got the capacity to do it. So letting the child be in a state of awareness of what emotional state I am in right now, and what the other person might be right now, and how I deal with it. But that's where the empathy comes in. That is something I'm not okay with. If I see that there's a child playing with somebody and the other child is being a little rough, I would go back to my child and say, hey, looks like the child right now is not a good person to play with. Looks like he is angry with something. Let's not play. Go back. But you let the child be there. Maybe they will have a fight. They'll figure out something, and then they understand what was happening, and they may come to peace. I wouldn't take that risk. I don't want to do that. I know that as a parent, I feel that I have cracked the whole thing. I know how to deal with the world. The child does not. It doesn't know how to deal with emotions. So I'll not let a child go into the park when the other kid is screaming, crying, and they, okay, go and play with that kid. See what is happening. If you're feeling like not doing something, don't do it. I'm not okay with it. But whether the Gurukulam is like, channelize your emotions, be in the awareness of what emotional state you are in right now, and act according to that. But come back home, boss, you can't. You cannot be sad. Be appreciative of what you have. You have a nice house to come back to. So again, a practicality of it, right? Is it that I am ready to let the child channelize and let the child express the feeling the way it is supposed to express, and be aware of it and aware of others' feeling? Are we ready as parents?
see, that's what these conditions laid out by the parents is happening because they unfortunately themselves have been victims of such kind of conditioning, in social situations. Even if they don't want to go to attend a function, they are forced to because of social obligations. And if there is an elderly who is saying something, they are like, forced to conform. Even if you're not happy listening to what is laid out there, they have to grin and bear it. So it is like, it's playing role after role after role in every aspect of their lives. And it's like mask on, mask off, mask on, mask off, it's like that. So they themselves are victims, and it's unthinkable that, and it's like in psychology, this is known as the conditioning. So it's operational conditioning and classical conditioning. So they have been, it's been done from from the time they were born till, in their adult lives also. They have sort of they're operating only from that. So it's unthinkable, it's like, if you don't know what to do about it, and you're not allowed to express, so it's unthinkable for them that the child be allowed, and such a thing is possible. And it's okay to let them express and just
Yeah,
let them
exactly.
be,
And the
let
acceptance
them
of it.
feel.
The
The
first part is the
acceptance
acceptance of it, right?
yeah, so
Nobody wants to accept that my child is feeling dejected.
yeah.
Right? That is something that doesn't come easily. And this is again another practical thing. One of my friends, she was going through a lot of personal stuff that was happening in her life. And then I told her, why don't you explore this course? It's going to be a good thing for you to get back into your, awareness of the emotional upswings that you are having. Just because that course had a word called therapy, she didn't want to sign up for it, because I do not want to accept that emotional challenges are there. I'll live with it. I'll try to work things around, cry about it, but I don't want to accept this is what is happening. So if I am in that state as a parent, as an adult, how would I expect my child to be there, express it, and feel and channelize? That's again a big void, big disconnect, because we as adults itself are not ready in a lot of ways to deal with this.
Yeah, and it's because the system itself rewards such kind of behavior. If you repress your emotions, and if you are a logical person, and who you are considered a winner in the corporate world, these are the kind of people who are rewarded, who actually climb the ladder of leadership and stuff. So the system itself operates in such a way that it constantly rewards this kind of repression or suppression that is there. So they are conditioned into thinking that no, emotions need to be managed, they need to be controlled at all forms. I should not uh, let it flow, I should not let it be. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so I think
there's
we can give the point because it's like if emotion is life and you're not okay with your emotion, then you're not okay with your life. If you're not okay with life, why will you get into life learning and self-learning? And another thing which I realized, I think while you were talking, I realized that a lot of the times emotional intelligence and empathy is misunderstood or just bracketed as giving comfort. Like I know parents who are not happy with what probably currently their children are going through. It could be homeschooling or any other type of learning system that they are in. But they don't want to pull the child out because the child is already comfortable with the friends that they have, is comfortable in the space that they are, so they don't want to disturb. How can learning happen without discomfort?
discomfort. Yeah.
Yeah. So with all those confusions put together with emotions, I think it's like a huge khichdi. Comfort भी आ जाता है, ये भी आ जाता है, life सीखना है वो भी आ जाता है. Does everybody want a good emotional life? Yes. But do we have a basic definition of emotion that matches? Probably no. Especially if we are constantly confusing emotion with comfort, then definitely no.
Yeah. For the last point that you made, driver, I don't know whose side you are batting for, but based on that, I think it looks like society or parents or adults are not ready for it yet. For that
Yeah,
reason.
yeah. I am backing with Notanma for this, but yeah, I'm agreeing that we are losing. I
Mm.
think, see, if we just want to be comfortable, then growth is not for us, then Gurukulam is not for us. Probably that's the line I'll take.
Okay, that leaves us 9 and 4.
Oof.
Nathan, what was the dialogue that you said? The more number of
Yeah,
points that
Chetan, I'm with your dialogue. That's what's giving
Yeah,
me
no,
the
I said
fuel.
every point that is gained by the other side is a point less for humanity, and it is a loss for humanity. So,
awesome. The curriculum includes storytelling for narrative building. This I'll shut up. I am a storyteller myself. I cannot argue about this.
yeah, there is a certain power in storytelling, and it is a powerful medium to send out any kind of message or learning that is there. That is why movies play, such a big role. If they have a social message to give out, movie making is a powerful form of doing it. So that is the power of story, which complicated, complex things can be easily related in story format. And acknowledging this, our ancients have put so many truths of lives and truths of life and uh, so many encoded messages in the form of stories. So at the outset of it, it just looks like a story for the people who are listening to it or listening or watching it or hearing about it and stuff. But beneath that, on so many layers, there is so much that is happening that it just unlocks so many things in you. So at the outset, yeah, it's like Ma was mentioning the Panchatantras. They're all stories. Like Ramayana is a story, Mahabharata is a story. So many stories, all are epics and stuff. So, uh, but it
There-
is a very, very strong form of sending out messages that are imperative and imminent, and it is very required for healthy spiritual growth. And it's a
Yeah.
yeah, so it very, very tactically our ancients have used this simple storytelling for a larger game called narrative building and self
This
knowledge.
this is a given, right? All the Puranas, the beautiful
Yeah.
stories that is encoding messages of entire universe are stories, and those guys came from the rishis who pioneered Gurukulam, the way of education of life learning itself. So for that fact, there's no argument because I'm going against the rishis for this. I'm not gonna. I'm not there yet, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take that. But if you look at it as as from a societal perspective, it is considered that storytelling is a time pass, right? You're doing it as a thing. It's not considered to be a way of dealing with life, living life. So that is something that is not encouraged in the mainstream. So for that, Gurukulam facilitated, because the entire thing that was happening in Gurukulam was all through storytelling, narratives, and activities and imagination,
Dialogue. Yeah.
creativity. So hands down, you can take it.
Yeah. Probably people don't know the importance of the narrative building part connected to storytelling.
Exactly.
But people are still like, if you're just going by just like how they are okay, their child learning shlokas, they're happy if the child narrates a story.
Yeah.
So yeah, that way we can take the point.
No arguments. It
Yeah,
ensures children grow into responsible and compassionate adults.
we have covered this largely, but yes, I'll just make that point again that growth is or education without compassion, actually, if there's no compassion involved, it only goes on to create exploitative uh, uh, exploiters, clever exploiters instead
Mhm.
of leaders, actually. So this compassion plays a huge role in whatever they are doing to have a sort of balance and harmony with everything around. So true holistic education has to it will always prevail here.
Yeah. So if we're attaching it to the previous point that we spoke about holistic education, where I
Hmm.
think we were speaking about holistic education is a long-term investment,
Yes.
which doesn't give you immediate results. Same thing here. Becoming a responsible adult and a compassionate adult also
Yes.
requires something that you would see it as your life experience and how you deal with life, becoming a part of your overall learning, which is again expressed at a very later stage of life or takes time to express. this is not something that has an instant gratification, or you do it tomorrow, you know that, oh, how am I saying that you are a responsible person just by putting your clothes in place and putting your clothes into laundry and taking it out? That's not the definition of responsibility, right? That's what I am looking for. The last point that we were related to this, that we were speaking about as a holistic development, this relates to that. We took a point because the society was not ready for a long wait for these fruits to ripe. Again, this falls under the same bracket there. So 100% agree that Gurukulam can give all of these things, because you are not running a competition or a race there to get to where you are. You
Yeah.
are
And
responsible for
it
everything
is
that you
not,
do,
yeah, it
every
is not an
decision.
alone journey. It is all
Exactly.
interconnected. So
Yeah. So, and responsibility also, right? It's not about being responsible for something or being termed as person dependent or whatever. It is you being responsible for every action that you take or every action that you do not take and owning up to it. That
yeah.
is a responsibility that the Gurukulam focuses on. Becoming a responsible person is, that is a definition of it. But by the standards, again, if you're looking at this in a different definition, this is not where you scored last time. So considering this is an extension to it, so
Uh,
I'm gonna bump it up to another point for why this is not something that you can expect from a Gurukulam if you're not ready for the long-term investment, unless Raiva, you have something to counter to it or add to it.
So no, even I don't think we'll get a point for this if because it really connects back to 2 points. One is the holistic development and also the character building.
yes, yes, yes.
For a person who's, let's say, for a graduate from a Gurukulam, why that compassion comes automatically is you were a self-learner, and when we are in a journey of self-knowledge, becoming a self-learner, one thing that comes about is our life is not as random as it looks like. So every other person in your life or every other situation is a reflection of something that you have learned, and it's there in your life, be it a person, relationship, or a situation, for you to practice something or for you to learn something more. When we are living our life knowing that we are learning and everybody around me is a tool for me to learn more, I automatically have compassion to others because I know I'm learning from them and they know they are learning from me. There is no resistance over there. But for that, a parent or a person or the society as well needs to have that acceptance of self-knowledge, self-learning, everything that we spoke of that we are right now not in. So yeah, that way I feel
Yeah,
even if we try to, it's difficult to get the point.
let me try once more. See, it is quite natural for a human being to be compassionate. It is not in the nature of a human being to to uh, attack, kill, or just demolish and stuff like that. I think the purest form of energy that is there is in a baby. Now, have you ever seen babies? Okay, I want to build a mound here, and therefore I will slash at every living thing around or under the soil, and it's not there. So but and in fact, if you go to see, if one baby cries, automatically the other also starts crying, so that is human nature. So in for the sake of development, that means like I mentioned earlier also, 73% of wildlife has been wiped out of the face of the planet. So it only goes to show that we are going away from what is actually intrinsically normal to our to us as human beings. So in its natural sense, it's something that is not normal. That is what is
Yes.
happening.
So the thing is, both the words over there, right? Compassion and responsibility. Like Bharatji said, the responsibility for a normal term is a person who can be accountable for their own, do's and don'ts. Yeah, I can take care of myself. I know what time what to do. If I promise something that at 12 o'clock I'll be there to help you, I actually show up there to help. Okay, if I'm doing all of that, then probably I'm doing a little extra than what I promised, I'll be called a responsible person. That's what the meaning of responsibility is now. From a Gurukulam's point of view, it's basically responsibility. The universe, the signals that the universe is giving you,
Very beautiful. Yeah.
you are building those ability, you have the ability to respond to that or grasp that signal. That is the viewpoint we have from the Gurukulam's point of view to look at the word responsibility. Similarly, for compassion, it's limited to being nice to people. for today's world. Like, for example, if you have to slap your kid for something, that will not be seen as compassion. But what if, as a parent, you know that will give the greatest learning? Like Mirama was mentioning in the morning, right, the story that she shared about the child coming and just apologizing.
Hmm.
Could it look brutal that we are getting a child to do this, or a child wants to come and do it? It could look brutal, but it's the greatest act of compassion to give a child a space to come and be feel free to be apologetic also. But that won't be seen as compassion.
It won't
They'll
be
be seen
because
as
yeah.
something, yeah, it seems more harsh and brutal. So I think the definition of both compassion and responsibility right now are very, lack of words, very shallow. And
Mm.
what we have as Gurukulam, I don't feel sometimes they're even at the same, they're not even in a comparable plane. It's so different. So that way, yeah, if these are not the definitions that you relate to, then if it's just about being nice and being on time, then probably Gurukulam is not for you.